Can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken. You're so fake. Biggie, biggie, biggie. Can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
A lot of news happening in the real estate world this week, and this
Big
being
time.
Windsor, Essex, Scott Paul. Windsor, Essex, Scott Paul News.
The Real Estate Network.
The Real Estate Network. We want to touch on the Windsor news going on this year. Guys, last week, wow, absolutely electric response. Obviously, our first sponsor up. First to answer the call out there, the call of...
the cry almost.
The cry. Guys, for the low cost of 2 coffee mugs with your business on it, you could sponsor this whole show on a weekly basis. Just for 1 week, at the low cost of 2 coffee cups. It's all we ask. It's all we ask. Thank you. Desperation, if you will, our good friends and clients at Petretta Construction. You're gonna see a lot of us with Petretta Construction in the next coming months, as we're actually launching a project for them. So we've teamed up with Petretta. They've hired AW for You, and it's a 4-building condominium development. Each building 50 units. We're going to start our marketing and drop our marketing on that probably within the next couple of weeks. We have a massive sign going up on the site, and if you're driving down the expressway, I have a feeling you're not going to be able to miss it. So we're excited for that. Petretta Construction, one of the city's most well-known construction companies, heavy in the condo game. Obviously, always have done retail and stuff like that, but a lot of good projects that they're working on. Probably their most notable one at the moment that's going on is probably a Harbor Club down in the old St. Clair Beach neck of the woods, which is pretty much sold out, if not all sold out, and a super exclusive and very, very well thought out design and building there. It's so excited to see that thing be finished. So, yeah. So in addition to Petretta's few developments that they got going on, there's a lot of other stuff happening in the city. What's some other news that we've heard this week? We've got the Cocoa development going on in Lakeshore. Ray's Ranch is near the St. Anne's new school out there, so that's pretty interesting. I think those are starting at the 850 range with a finished basement. Wow. Valente's announced a couple things in LaSalle. I think those might be apartment buildings. He sounds like he's debating whether or not to rent them or sell them. So we'll see how that plays out. Right? Just like he did on Manning here, down in the East End. That's behind the Zares in LaSalle. I think it's 3 or 4, but I know there's one smaller building and then 2 larger buildings, but we'll wait for the documents on that. And again, any of these projects that you want information on, we can always grab.
Yeah, definitely. I think the reason that these projects are happening is because we don't have enough houses, right? Like we're trying to build to catch up. These developers see what's happening in the city, and we're trying to build enough units to fix this basically crisis that we're in. So great job by the developers. Super happy to see it. It's great for the economy. Yeah. What else we got? We got the Starbucks going up in Kingsville. That's it's kind of not that big of news, but it's
to you. It's
I might be out in Kingsville a little bit more now. I'm a big Starbucks guy here, but. If you own something out in Kingsville, Starbucks has a tendency to increase the value of the local real estate around it. You also know that these big corporations, big companies are doing the research when they build something. So from an investor angle, or if you just happen to own something out there, from an investor angle, or if you just happen to own something out there, it's always great news.
From an investor angle, and Starbucks always goes in good spots. They need big properties for their places because there's so many people in that drive-thru all the time. I don't understand why people keep getting. I don't like Starbucks. What I do like though is an extra large dark roast, half cream, 2 sugar. If you're ever coming by, it works in a large as well. So that's a dark roast, half cream, 2 sugar. I'm the only one in the office that just loves Tim Hortons. I like my Timmy's, you know.
I like Timmy's as well. It's just, you know.
If you know me,
Starbucks,
you know
yeah.
I like to tinker in the garage, and nothing
That's
like
not true
tinkering in the garage
at all.
with,
Nothing
with a
about that is true.
With a nice cup of Timmy's. So great.
How about in terms of development? How about the Gordie Howe Bridge too? Right, there are just some photos posted online. It's nice to see the progress. Right? I think we forget about that. It's actually going on.
Like just to put up that the one foundation is just like what an undertaking. So
yeah, the plaza's starting for the customs officers as well, so that's super interesting. Easy try to get some photos up there, and it's going to be, it's a major project here. So in short, Windsor's it's booming here, right? Like we're in a construction boom, we're in a housing boom. It's not like we're at the end of this, in a way we're at the early innings, in my opinion, because there's still not enough houses.
And again, we have to remind the Windsorites that these prices won't make sense to you because you've been you've seen it all along, right?
You're accustomed to, basically.
Right. So from the out-of-towners coming in, they look at our prices down here still and feel like it's a massive discount.
So one of the things we talked about last week, right? The possibility of going back to homeschool or school from home actually did happen. Doug Ford announced it. What impact do we think that might have on the market? Again, we saw this play out before, but
being there before, I think the market doesn't have a choice but to produce less listings with kids being at home. This is one of the busiest times for people to list their properties because they want to prep it, list it, get it closed, and close their new house before the new school year starts. But with the kids home all day now, it may pose a problem and put even less listings out there.
It's gonna limit the supply.
Yeah,
it's gonna limit the supply. So if you are thinking about selling, what do you do, right?
You sell actually.
You think about selling in this time.
I think if you are thinking about selling right now, I think there's going to be even less competition out there for you, and I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. Although this week's been a kind of a little weird. It was a weird week. There. It was a weird week. We always want to provide hyper local news and insight for you guys. A couple cracks out there in the market, although we're talking how hot it is and lack of listings. Few opportunities out there that we saw this week. Last night we secured a property. We were the only offer. I haven't seen that in...
It's been a while. And it was a great property, great location as well. Yeah, it wasn't.
And a couple other properties that we're keeping an eye on, went to offers and didn't get any offers. So again, I haven't seen that yet this year. I mean, 2020 we've seen it a few times, but kind of makes you wonder, why is that happening, and how can we make sure that the ones that fall through the cracks, that we can take advantage of them for our clients.
Yeah, and that's why it's always important as a buyer, you're always in the game, right? Because those cracks, you can't anticipate them. It was kind of a fluke, right? And if you're in the game, well, you're ready to take advantage of it. Those cracks could disappear by next week. We don't know. We're not sure. We'll see how it plays out. We'll keep you updated, obviously, but so what about there's a great article posted in the Windsor Star, I think today, about the roundtable discussion with some local leaders, right, in the industry, about basically the crisis that Windsor's in and how they are trying to come up with ways to tackle it. I think year over year our prices were up 25% or something along those lines.
It's heavy.
20, think about it, 25% of $300,000 or $400,000. That's $100,000 approximately rise in prices.
We've been on the rise for 4 or 5 years now. Never have I seen the rise that's happened from January 1st till now. Yeah. And that's a rise percentage-wise on the biggest number, right? So when we started this 4 or 5 years ago, starting to rise off an average sale price of $165. Now we're doing this on a rise of an average sale price of $450,000, and the percentage is higher.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been quite the year. I think that real estate roundtable was to address what's going on out there. I think there's a lot of buyer fatigue. I think people are getting frustrated with the market, and I'm glad that they all got together and had a conversation about it. Some light numbers that came out of that was, there's in the past year to date, of the ones that they could track, 100 home purchasers from Toronto, 60 from York, 60 from Waterloo, 60 from London, 30 from Hamilton. Is
that year to date, January to now, or is that
I think it's
year
March
over year?
To March.
March to March. So 210.
That's how I read it. Yeah.
210 buyers from London to GTA that have purchased something in Windsor.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound like a huge number, but when you don't have enough houses, right? We didn't build here for a long time, every single person is a significant.
Yeah, that's a huge factor of why this is happening. That with, of course, immigration, right?
Yeah, which is huge. Another big announcement on the immigration front. I think they're really pushing for that 400,000 immigrants this year. I think they were a little bit soft last year on their target because of COVID, but I think they're really pushing for that this year. They announced, I think, a fast track for 90,000 immigrants to come on a special visa. So they're really pushing for it, and I think it's going to happen. And you got to think too, those 210 people from London to the GTA, that's 210 buyers. That could be a family, right? That could be a family of 4. And we got to think about the next generation after that. If you have 2 or 3 kids,
it's actually 310.
310.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
310. So 300. Like that's a big number, and that could be a family of 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are now part of our economy. They might have kids that are going to be entering the market over the next 5, 10 years. Like we got to build for those people as well. Like people, sometimes we don't think about the impact of even what seems like a small number. It's actually pretty significant in a tight market.
That's 2 to 4 weeks of full sales for our board, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of sales. And like Tim Hudak put it, he says what's happening now is a cruel game of musical chairs where you have more people circling fewer chairs. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty. And when that happens, if you ever played musical chairs, that last couple people fighting for that last chair, it can get pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why you see these big $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 price jumps, because there's only a few chairs and people are desperate, and they're putting in offers because they can't stand to lose anymore. They see prices rising, and that's a significant part of the problem. Now, what I did like about this article is that they discuss solutions. Right, we know the problem.
Yeah.
What are the solutions? One of the big ones, I think, basically the only one that I think really is to increase supply and to decrease red tape. And they talked specifically about that. What do they talk about? Waiving development fees as part of it.
Yeah, making it easier to build, right?
Yeah.
It's so hard, and again, those development fees. What people don't realize that for these builders and developers, just to get a shovel into the ground is so much
environmental studies, permits, this permit, that study,
money
that
and time, which always go hand in hand. But so making it easier for these people who want to develop to provide more housing for everybody. That's the only way we're gonna get through this, and we will. This real estate's cyclical. It will stabilize or come down a little bit, but at the end of the day, whatever it does in 10 years is still going to be up there again. So just be patient. Be patient. Keep shooting those shots. Keep being out there with your realtor. And I do see a couple cracks in the market this week. I haven't seen that yet this year.
Yeah, super interesting times. I think Paul hit the nail on the head. Hopefully this softens up and balances out over time. I think we're making progress towards that. In the meantime, like Paul said, stay in the game and keep working at it.
There it is, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations to Petrena Construction for having us allow them to sponsor this show. So, Petrena Construction, thank you so much for the sponsorship. We've got sponsors for the next 2 weeks, but if you guys want to sponsor, we're into the hoodie game now. Actually, we'll rock the hoodie. We'll display the hat, and we don't want to mess the hair up. And of course, the coffee cup with Tim Hortons, dark roast, half cream, 2 sugar. Always proud to rock the mugs, guys. Thanks again. If you have any questions, you can always DM us, and we'd be more than happy to assist you. Thanks.
Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken. You're so fake. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.